In this video, we'll be looking at working out area of sectors. Now, before I do that, just a quick reminder of how to work out area of circle. Here's your circle, and here's the radius. That's the center, and that's the radius. The formula is right here. Area is equal to pi r squared. So to work out the area of a circle, let's say r happens to be, let's make up a number, let's call it 3 centimeters. So we do area is equal to pi times 3 squared. Now, if you've got a calculator that's got a pi button, you can use that. If you haven't got that, then you can just assume pi is 3.142 as an approximate. But I've got a pi button on my calculator, so if you look at the bottom right hand side of the screen, pi times 3 squared, press the SD button, 28.27. Because the units are in centimeters for the radius, the area has to be centimeter squared. Do not confuse formula for area of a circle, which is that, with the circumference. That's the formula for the circumference. Remember, area is the space inside of a circle, whereas the circumference is the distance all the way around the circle. Now, if I can curve a ruler and measure the distance all the way around the circle without breaking it, then I could get the circumference. Otherwise, use the formula for the circumference. Right. So in this topic, to work out area of a sector, we'll be looking at area of your circle. There is a formula on the top right hand side of the screen that gives you the area of a sector, where the x represents an angle. So let's look at the first question over here. We're going to work out the area of this sector, the shaded part. So x is 60 over 360. Remember, angles around a point, this point here, all the way around, adds up to 360. So that's 60 over 360, or 60 divided by 360, times pi times r squared, where r is given as 3 in the diagram. So if you look at the bottom right hand side of the screen, I'm going to use a fraction button because I've got one. If you haven't got a fraction button, then you can use 60 divided by 360. .71. That's the area of this bit. Right, next question. This time x is 120 out of 360. This time the radius is 2, so it's going to be 2 squared. All I can do is just go back and edit the numbers on the screen on my calculator. .19. Right, this one, you need to be careful with this. X is not going to be 90. Well, what's it going to be? Well, think about this. We are trying to work out the area of this big sector. And the angle that makes up that sector from the center is this one here. That angle there is part of the sector that is shaded. So what is that angle? Well, you know, angles around a point up to 360, so that has to be 270 degrees. So x is 270. Right, hold on a second. So x now is 270, not 90. The radius given to us in the question is 4. let's round that to one decimal place, call it 37.7. Now, what if I had substituted 90 into the formula instead? If I'd put 90 into the formula, I would have worked out that part, which is not what I want. I'm after the shaded part, which is all of this, right, all of that. And the angle that represents that sector is 270.